And hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of The Book Guy. I'm Cyrus Webb, The Book Guy. Glad you all could be with us. We're going to be connecting with our friends on Amazon Live here in just a bit. But wanted to come on, though, to be able to thank you all so much for joining us for this week. Before we connect with Amazon Live, going to go also make sure that the authors that are featured this week, make sure that they are tagged for you guys to be able to easily find them depending on what platform you all are joining us on. Today, we are streaming on Facebook. We're on YouTube, as well as, let's see, on Amazon is where we will be today. So I appreciate you all being on with us. If you guys have not done so already, invite you guys to click the link that you'll see with this video. That'll take you over to my Amazon store, and there you will see all of this week's books actually being featured there. I'm going to take a moment again and make sure that all of the authors for this week are tagged. Also, make sure that this post is public so that they will be able to share. Going to be going through this week's edition, and we have some new books that were not with us over last week. As you guys know, it is National Book Month. So would love to know in the comment section what books you guys are reading. Going to go ahead and give a quick tag to our featured authors for this week. And invite you guys, as always, if you have any questions about any of the books that we're featuring this week, make sure to be able to let me know. We'll be glad to answer those for you. All of the books, as I always tell you guys, are books that I've all personally read. So these are books that I'm able to not only be able to discuss what I was able to get from the books, but of course, let you guys know what you can expect from them as well. We have a mixture of nonfiction and fiction for you guys this week. So that makes it really good. So again, there will be a little bit of something for everyone. Just go through and make sure we have everyone tagged here. And again, I'm with you guys every Monday, so you can always be able to catch us here with the Book Guy on Amazon Live. We are now one of the top 10 programs on Amazon, which is really exciting for us. But also want to remind you that if you're interested in having your book featured, of course, you can always be able to message us to be able to see how you can do that. A little bit later, I'm going to be coming back and sharing with you guys our updated website that is now live, where you guys can be able to stay connected with us there as well, and be able to find out information about marketing opportunities too. All right, so I think I have everybody tagged here. So we're going to go ahead and go live on Amazon and get started with today's program. Again, if you have any questions about any of the books that you see here, feel free to be able to let me know. I will be able to talk to you guys about that. Also would love to know where you're joining us from. I see some of you already on the YouTube side. Appreciate you. Also, those joining us on Facebook, appreciate you being with us as well. And let's see, make sure I don't want to leave anybody off here. Okay. I think that might be it. Give one more quick look here. I did miss one. Okay, got that. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and connect now with Amazon, and we're going to get started with our show. And hello, everyone. You are watching Cyrus Webb Presents The Book Guy here on Amazon Live. Glad you all could join us once again. Amazon Live has updated where you guys can follow us, as well as how you can be able to see the products that I'm going to be discussing today. So I want to remind you of that. If you're joining us on your desktop or laptop, you will notice the follow button is now beneath us. Also, you will see the carousel there where you guys can be able to get any of the books that we're talking about here. I also want to let you guys know that all of the books that I'm discussing today are available in print as well as the Kindle edition. So you can be able to get both versions. If you do not have a Kindle, don't worry. In my carousel today, I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. The great thing about Amazon is they've been able to make it very easy for you guys. You can get the Kindle for your Mac. Hello to you, Deborah. Hope all is well with you. Appreciate that using the hashtag The Book Guy. You can also get your Kindle for your Android. I'm highlighting it there on the Amazon Live side. And of course, the Kindle for PC. I actually use that myself. I do have a Kindle, but when I'm traveling, I do use a Kindle on PC. So again, you don't have to have a Kindle if you don't an actual Kindle to be able to enjoy the Kindle editions of the books. You can be able to watch them, read them on any of the platforms out there, whether we're talking about your PC, your Mac, or even, of course, being able to watch them on the tablet. There is, of course, the Kindle that is on sale right now for $89.99. So keep that in mind. Again, all the books I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, all of them are available in Kindle as well as in print. So if you guys don't feel like, as I do, I have all the physical copies here with me. A lot of them, though, I do have the Kindle editions as well because I like to have them from when I'm traveling. But the Kindle is on sale right now for $89.99. You can find it there on Amazon. Also, the computer that I'm using here, you guys can see I have my trusty BiteCool computer. It is still on sale right now, and I don't know how long this sale will be going on, but it's $279 for this BiteCool computer. And what is cool about this is really good for those who are looking for streaming. It's the speed on it is really good for that. Also, of course, it's one that you want to be able to have to work on it. It does have Windows 10 on it. Again, it's $279. It is on sale right now. I don't know how long it will be on sale. You guys know it's busy time right now. So if you guys do not have a trusty laptop, I invite you guys to get the BiteCool computer that I have. It definitely comes in handy. I also like the size. I'm getting ready to do some traveling in a couple of weeks. You guys don't know about that, but I'm going to tell you about it later on this week. So it will definitely be traveling with me as I'm hitting the road. Now, let's get into this week's selection of books by the book guy. Again, we are in National Book Month, of course. That's why we want to make sure you guys are adding as many of these to your reading list as you can and sharing them with your friends. I'm going to be telling you guys a little bit about each one of the books. And also, for those joining us on the Amazon Live side, you'll see that I will be highlighting them as we're going along. Hey, Tina, hope all is well with you. Appreciate you joining us on the Facebook side, and appreciate you guys joining us on the Amazon Live side as well. So to get started, we have Westlake, the book by Dan OBrien. You all see it there. Now, again, as I've mentioned to you guys before, we've been featuring Dan now for a while. What is great about Dan's book is that this is not just one book. It is actually 6 books. This is the Westlake series featuring Lauren Westlake. You can see her depicted there on the cover. It's a great series of books. Again, it's all about good and bad, good versus evil, right and wrong, and how Lauren is trying to navigate the world that she finds herself in as an FBI agent, where things are not always as they appear to be. So that's what Dan has given us. Look at that size of that book. It's a really nice sized book. You get 6 books. At the time we're having this broadcast, you can get the Kindle edition for only $5.99, or you can get the paper edition as I have it here. But for those who are looking for some great fiction, great fantasy fiction, and also, I think just really an entertaining read, Westlake is definitely worth your time. Again, the Kindle edition, only $5.99. Another work of fiction that we're highlighting today on the book guide is Chestnut Checkers by author Tony Lindsay. You guys see it there. It is, again, another work of fiction. It takes us into the life of the main character, Thaddeus, who's trying to navigate the world that he's living in, dealing with family, dealing with friends, and just all the things that can come up in life situations, trying to navigate finding his own space in the world. Again, the title of the book says a lot about what it's about. Chestnut Checkers. Life is like a game of chess, as we know. So he really has to find out how to be more practical, more thoughtful, and how he can best navigate the world that he lives in so that he can be able to come out good on the other side. Again, this is a book by Tony Lindsay. Tony actually released 2 books this year, which is new for him. But this book is definitely worth a read. Again, it's fiction, and that is Chestnut Checkers by Tony Lindsay. All right, the next book that we have in our carousel on Amazon is by Dan OBrien. If you guys have heard me say this before, Dan is one of those authors that can really write anything. When I first met Dan, he was writing novels. He's also written a book of short stories. I sat down with him in Chicago for my show, Cyrus Represents, to talk to him about that. Now, this year he's released this book, which I love, A Necessary Explosion. It's a book of poetry, his first book of poetry that is out now. I have it highlighted in the carousel. This book's available in paperback, in Kindle, as well as hardcover as well. $10.70. It's on sale right now. I have it highlighted in the carousel. But really, Dan is a tremendous storyteller. He's able to do it in short form and long form. And this book is a great example of that, taking us into life experiences, and doing some storytelling, all in his book of poetry. Again, A Necessary Explosion by Dan Burns. Perfect, of course, for where we find ourselves with National Book Month. Our next book is nonfiction and also a workbook. This book is newly now out in Kindle as well. I have the paperback edition of it. We're talking about Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination by Dawn Marie Westmoreland. What Dawn has done in this book is use her own background in human resources to be able to remind us that when you see something that is not right, the importance of standing up for what is right. Now, this goes two ways. One, if you're the person who's actually experiencing the discrimination or the bullying, or two, if you see someone who's going through it. And in Dawn's situation, she was in the latter category. She saw things not being done right. She decided to stand up. She talked to us about what she experienced, but also what you need to have at your disposal to be able to help other people who find themselves in this situation. The book is full of good resources as well, letting you know who to contact if you're dealing with different situations. Just a really good book that gives us some actionable information. Again, How to Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination by Dawn Marie Westmoreland. It's available right now, again, in print as well as the Kindle edition. All right, the next book is also a book of nonfiction. It is by Lisa George, or we know her on Facebook as Lisa G. Celebrating Life, Celebrating You is the title of the book. It takes us into Lisa's own journey of learning the importance of celebrating herself, but also how we can be able to look at life different, look at life lessons differently, and realize that we can use what we're going through to make us better for tomorrow. I love the fact that the book is very practical, very easy to read. At the time we're having this conversation, the Kindle edition is only 99 cents. 99 cents for the Kindle edition right now, but you can also get the print edition. I have both because the book first came out in Kindle, but I love actually having the book so I can hold it. So I definitely ordered the paperback edition as well. But again, this book, Celebrating Life, Celebrating You by Lisa George, or Lisa G, a great book to remind you to not to leave yourself behind. All right, we're transitioning back to fiction, and these are really listed in no particular order, guys. To be honest with you, when I was compiling the carousel for Amazon Live, I didn't take into account how I had the books actually in front of me, but that's okay, because I'm able to swipe pretty good. So the next book is another work of fiction, The Memory Lingers On by Rosalind K Chuck. Here is the book. I have the paperback edition. Again, it is available in Kindle edition as well. So I love this book for a couple of reasons. One, we're able to meet the main character, Anna. And Anna is dealing with some things. Anna has some issues in life, but now she's able to share some practical lessons with her own daughter, all about appreciating life. And that's what makes this book, to me, so cool. It does not mean the difficult times will not come. They do. But what will we do about them, and what will we learn along the way? Again, The Memory Lingers On. It's $11.68 right now. It's on sale as well. At the time we're having this broadcast, they're on Amazon. Again, another work of fiction. All right, we're going back to nonfiction now. This is another book. Really enjoyed this. In fact, I had a great conversation with the author on Cyrus Represents on Amazon Live. So make sure you guys do check that out in my other broadcast. But this is by Ruby C. White. The book is called Resilient Heart. People always comment about the cover, and I agree. It's a beautiful cover. But the story is also powerful. For those of us who have gone through challenges in our adult life, or even challenges as a kid, you may wonder if you're able to put those things behind you and keep moving forward. Well, with Ruby, again, this is her story. She went through bad things in her childhood. She went through bad things as an adult, as a wife, but she was able to realize the importance, even as Lisa George mentions in her book, of not forgetting herself, to make decisions that are good for herself. And by being able to put herself and her family first, she was able to turn things around for herself and now to show us all how we can be resilient. Again, Resilient Heart is the book. The Kindle edition is $5.99 at the time we're having this conversation today. Really good deal. Again, by Ruby C. White. All right, the next book is another nonfiction. This one is simply called Transformation by Dr. Theresa A. Smith, or Dr. Taz, again, as we know her on social media. I love this book. If you all have been following along, we are 5 weeks into a 10-week session with Dr. Taz that is based around her book that really is about showing us what it takes to truly transform. Try to get less of the ring light in there for you guys. Let me tell you the very first thing, though, because, well, for those who don't know, if you have not gotten Dr. Taz's book, what she does in the book, she gives us, instead of chapters, she gives us messages. And the very first message in the book is change is difficult. So she acknowledges the fact it is not easy to change, but she does go through the necessities of making those changes. And that is what she shares in this book, addressing what is difficult, but also showing us how we can be able to do it. So it's a great reminder for all of us. This book is $8.99. $8.99 at the time we're having this conversation today. So make sure you guys get it. Again, it's available in print as well as the Kindle edition. Next up is a book by Tina Siemens, Seminal, Some People Never Give Up. Another work of nonfiction. You guys can see it there. And in the book, Tina takes us into her own family history and what it's been like for her to be able to learn lessons from her family that have not only benefited her, but now by extension can benefit us all. Hey, Freddie, hope all is well with you. Freddie, you're reading the Bible. Okay, hey, you can't go wrong there, man. You can't go wrong there. And with Seminal, the other thing that, speaking of the Bible, the other thing that Tina does in this book is shows the role of faith has played in her family's life in getting through some hard difficulties, some hard times and challenges. And of course, what she was able to learn from that helped her too, as she made her own adventures in life too. So a great book to remind you of what is possible. Let's see. Hello to you, Mind Choice Zone podcast. Appreciate you for being on with us. Yes, I have read. I've actually all of these books, and thank you so much for the follow too, Mind Choice. I've actually read all the books that we're featuring today, which is why I'm so excited to be able to share them with all of you. I tell people I read probably about 25 books a month because of the radio show that I do and podcast. So I read a lot of books. So it's exciting for me to be able to share them. Seminal is a book that I was first introduced to now about a year ago. But really is a great read. And again, a great reminder of, even as the subtitle says, some people never give up. And Tina, we appreciate you joining us. She's actually watching us on the Facebook side of our broadcast. So I appreciate you watching us, Tina. Our next book is another nonfiction book by Dennis Perkins, a fellow Mississippian. As you guys know, I'm from Mississippi. Standing Upright in an Upside Down World. Now, before I show you guys this beautiful cover for the book, let me tell you about Dennis. Dennis has written a lot of books. So even though you'll see his book below in the carousel, Mind Choice, I'm actually using Restream. I'm using Restream. It's the easiest for me to be able to navigate between YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, Amazon Live. So that's what I'm using for my broadcast. I'm using Restream. Really, and if I can use it, I believe anyone can, because I'm a really simple guy. So yeah, definitely if you're looking for some Restream to be able to use, definitely that is it for sure. But here's the book cover for Dennis Perkins, Standing Upright in an Upside Down World. Now, I've been knowing Dennis now for a few years, and what I love about him is, I was mentioning, if you click on his book there, I have it highlighted in the carousel, he is one of these authors that has talked a lot about love. He has books like Everlasting Love, The Greatest of These is Love. He's also talked about courage. This book, though, is really powerful because it reminds us of something that we need to know, especially today. And that is that just because other people think something is right does not necessarily mean it's something you should do. And it really is about showing us how we can stand up for what you truly believe in. And not to allow other people to sway you. You know, we think a lot of times about peer pressure as a child, but Dennis really shows it in this book, Standing Upright in an Upside Down World, that we can experience peer pressure at any age. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to live by your principles or follow the crowd? And that is what he invites you to be able to do. Thank you for that, Tina. And I do love this. I always enjoy sharing. Sometimes I get too excited, Tina. I get too excited sometimes because I do enjoy these. And I think it's one of those things that's what makes it enjoyable for me to do it every week is because I love being able to share. I love reading, and then I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to share. I want to mention too. I didn't mention the price with Dennis's book. It is at the time we're having this broadcast. It's on sale for $5.26. So it is on sale right now. You guys can get it $5.26. Standing Upright in an Upside Down World. The next book is by Mary Ellen Zaganovic. It is Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. It's another one of those that I have in print as well as the Kindle edition, but there is the print edition there. And in this book, what I love about it, and I do this with every broadcast, I normally just open up Mary Ellen's book and just read something from it. Because the great thing about her book is it does not have to be read from beginning to end. All of the books that I have been sharing with you guys so far, all of them pretty much, are best read beginning to end. Maybe not Don Marie Westmoreland's workbook. You probably could just go to what you need there. But for most of the books, definitely you read them from beginning to end. Mary Ellen's book, you're able to just pick something up and read it. So I'm just going to open it up, not knowing what page. And this is what what the heading is: present moment. Become aware of the present moment. In truth, that is all you have. Enjoy it, love it. Learn to live now and here, or you will live being nowhere. So see, that's a great message for us to think about. Am I really enjoying the moment? Am I taking the time to be present? And that's what Mary Ellen does in her book. She gives us these reminders, these prompts really, of how we can be able to live an enjoyable life and get the most out of life. So again, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. It is $12.97 at the time I'm doing this broadcast today. Again, available in print as well as the Kindle edition. The next book is a novel, but I was just sharing with someone today. In fact, I was talking to Mary Ellen today about the next book. It's by author Brian Nelson. It's called Choose Life. Now, a couple things about this book. It is a novel, so it's fiction, but it really tells us about the truth of life. And that is that all of us make choices. And those choices can have a positive or a negative impact on us. So what the characters in Brian's book do is they make choices. They have different things that they're doing in their lives, different ways that they're living, or different things that they're dealing with. Some of them are dealing with health things. Some of them are dealing with stereotypes. But whatever it is, they have a choice if they're going to become bitter or use it to be the best version of themselves. And that's what he's able to get us to see in this book. So you're able to get a great story, but also there's a great message there as well, which makes it a great novel to be able to read. At the time we're doing this broadcast, it's $12.99. $12.99. Again, Choose Life is the book. The author is Brian Nelson. All right, the next book, we're switching back to fiction again. And I just so happen to have this book sitting right here. The next book that's in the carousel is Triumph by author Jody Lee Stewart. Jody is joining us over on Twitter. So we are streaming on Twitter as well. Appreciate you guys for being over there with us. Feel free to retweet this. I'll make sure to show you guys some love over there too. But what I love about Jody's book is, again, it's about the three big ones. It's about family, friendship, faith. Hey, Tracy, great to be able to see you. Tracy, make sure you get with me if you're still interested in November, because we're booking dates right now for November. But this is one of those books that is great about how we deal with different things in our lives. What's, again, Great messages in this novel, what's right and wrong, but also how we're dealing with those in our lives and how we're able to navigate the world that we live in. And can we truly, as the title says, triumph? So it's a great book about overcoming challenges. What I love about Jody Lee Stewart's book is that, I want to call them historical fiction. That may not be the best title to use for her books, and I guess the reason why I say that is because she does like to take us back in time. Like this book is taking place in the 1950s. But it really does show us how, for one, people are people, no matter when we're talking about, but also how we're all kind of go through similar situations and challenges in life as well. So again, Triumph is the book by Jody Lee Stewart, $7.49. $7.49 at the time we're having this broadcast today. Next book is by another Mississippian. But before I get into that, I want to say thank you to all of you who are joining us for this episode of The Book Guy with Cyrus Webb Presents. Whether you're tuning in on Amazon Live or through our friends at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube, I'm sharing with you guys books that should definitely be on your reading list as we're going throughout National Book Month. Being able to celebrate books. I've been sharing with you guys some of the books that are in my Amazon store for this month. We're here with you guys every week, sharing with you guys some great titles, and hopefully you'll add some to your reading list by just clicking the link that you'll see with this video, or by heading over to Amazon and be able to clicking in the carousel where you'll be able to see all of the books. So again, our next book is Dream by Design, the devotional by Melissa Banks. You all can see it there. Doing pretty good with the lighting today. I'm proud of myself. But in this book, just like Mary Ellen's book, Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire. Hey, Dennis, hope all is well. Dennis, we were discussing your book a little bit earlier, man. Just like Mary Ellen's book that I mentioned earlier, Melissa's book is one that you can just open up again. Doesn't have to be read from beginning to end. And this message is start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And that's what she does. She shares with you a message, and then if you notice on the other side, you're able to do your work. You're able to show how you're going to be able to use this encouragement for the day. That's the great thing about her book. I know she has an extended version of this that is coming, but Dream by Design, the devotional is out now. A great book to give you those great reminders in life. It is $9.99 at the time we're doing this broadcast today, again, by Melissa Banks. All right, another nonfiction book, and this one, again, is right in front here, which is really cool, by Lorianne Gibson. Now, Lorianne Gibson is someone, she's had some big news coming up. If you guys aren't following Lorianne Gibson, she's a choreographer. I first got to know her from working with Sean Combs, or Puff Daddy. She worked with him on the Making the Band television series. You guys may remember that. But she has a amazing new book out. I bought this book, and I so enjoyed it. I've been telling people about it. It's called Simply Dance Your Dance. Dance Your Dance. It's on sale right now. Okay, so let me tell you about this book by Lorianne Gibson. Lorianne is a person who's pretty straightforward. She is definitely someone who's assured in herself and her abilities. But what she talks to us about in Dance Your Dance is to not to allow other people to sway you from being the person you were meant to be. That is a big message in her book. And the other thing is, don't feel like you have to copy other people. You're an original. You are meant to be great. Walk in your greatness. And she takes us into some personal experiences with herself, how she was able to stand up for herself, to stand up for what she believes in, and to still persevere and to thrive. And it really reminds us all that, look, you don't have to change who you are to fit in. You are meant to stand out. Lorianne Gibson knows that very well. She's been able to do it, and it has paid off for her big time. So again, Dance Your Dance is a book by Lorianne Gibson, available now. Again, it is on sale right now, so definitely make sure you guys get it for yourself. The next book is also someone who's been a guest of mine on Conversations Live, the radio show and podcast. That being the one and only Devon Franklin. Now, I have been following Devon for quite some time. He is such a gracious individual with his time, but also in sharing some positive messages for us. His new book is called Live Free, I'm highlighting it there in the carousel on Amazon. It also is on sale right now at the time we're doing this conversation. The subtitle is Exceed Your Highest Expectations. Now, again, another great book that reminds us of the freedom that can come from walking in your God-given purpose. That really is the message of Devon's book. And he shows us how, in practical ways, you can do it beginning where you are. So again, this is one of those books that will speak to you, for one, not to have the fear of making changes and doing what you know to be right, but also being able to move forward, knowing that your best days can still be ahead. Again, Live Free is the book. Exceed Your Highest Expectations. Available right now, again, on sale for $13.29 on Amazon. The next book is one I actually just read a couple of weeks ago, and I'm excited to be able to share it with you guys. I started sharing with you, I think, last week, this book by Carmelo Anthony. Now, I'm going to tell you about the book, Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised, but I wanted to give you a couple of caveats for this book. Dennis, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. I want to give you a couple of caveats for this book. If you're going into this book expecting to find out about his personal life after growing up, or finding out about his relationships, this is not the book you want to read. This is not what this book is about. So I want to let you guys know ahead of time, which is why I read the books ahead of time, so I can let you know. The book is called Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised. It takes us into his childhood and how he grew up in the projects, grew up with so much uncertainty around himself, and how he was able to find a way out. It doesn't take us all the way up. So I just want you guys to know that. So kind of measure your expectations. Is it a great book? Yes, it's a great book. It's really good, I think, for, I would say, middle school, high school, us adults, to be able to motivate us, to remind us of what's possible, what we can get out of. It is great for that. But if you're trying to find out about what he has to say about relationships and love and all, you're not going to find it in this book. So we have to wait on that book. But this book, Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised, is a great book to inspire you to believe in yourself, to remember that where you come from does not define you, and that success can be yours. Hey, Mary Ellen, hope all is well. Appreciate you, Mary Ellen. Mary Ellen, I discussed your book like 20 minutes ago, I think, but you can always watch the replay and be able to catch it as well. Oh, that book, let me tell you, it is $22.49. Carmelo Anthony's book is, at the time we're having this broadcast on Amazon, $22.49. Now, keep in mind, that is for the hardcover. You can get the paperback and as well as the Kindle edition. It is cheaper, but I bought the hardcover. And again, all these books I bought myself. So just to let you guys know. So you'll find reviews for the books also on Amazon over there too. All right, the next book is by someone else I had the pleasure of having on Conversations Live, the radio show. Also had him as a cover feature for our April-May issue of Conversations magazine. The one and only Columbus Short. You know him as a choreographer. He's a dancer. He's a singer. He's an actor. And now an author. He's given us a book, Short Stories, taking us into his life. And let me just say, I've said it before, this book is on sale right now for $10.25. Anything you want to know about Columbus Short, if you read headlines about him, you've seen news stories about him, if you've heard rumors about him, he talks about it in this book. And that is what makes this book such a must read. He does not sugarcoat it. He does not try to make himself look any way than as he is, and that is as a human being. Because as a human being, we have ups, we have downs, we have highs, we have lows. We make great decisions. Sometimes we make mistakes. And that is what he addresses in this book. This book is not about pointing the blame at anyone but himself. And he allows us to be able to see how he's been able to rise above the missteps in his life, the challenges in his life, and how he's been able to live life in the public. Because let's be honest. Not all of us have to worry about what the news is going to say about us, right? He's lived that kind of life that he has to Think about that, and those that he loves. So I love this book for its honesty. I love the book because it does take you into his career. Again, we know him as an actor. Of course, I first got to really, really know him from Scandal. But he's done so many other things since then, right? And before that too. So this book really takes you into his career, but also through the man who he is. So Short Stories is the book. Again, at the time we're having this conversation, $10.25 on Amazon. It is on sale right now. Definitely worth the read. Definitely worth the read. Tracy says, I enjoyed the book. Good. It is really, Tracy, he is so open, so honest in this book, which is what impressed me so much. We had such a great interview. Again, you guys can find it on Amazon, the interview we did together. But we had such a great interview together about the book, and he's just real. He's a really real individual. Now, this next person that I want to feature, she actually, I'm going to be making another announcement later on today about this particular book, but I'm going to go ahead and share it with you all today. Conversations Book Club is another aspect of my brand with Conversations. We're celebrating now 15 years this month, actually. And one of the things that we are known for are our list of top books for the year, best books for this, best books for that. Well, we also have our book of the month. And this next book I'm about to tell you about, I'm actually going to make an official announcement today, but I want to go ahead and share with you guys now because she's celebrating a huge accomplishment. That is Tabitha Brown, her book, Feeding the Soul. This book is so good. And it's so good because it's written in Tabitha's real voice. This is Tabitha. If you've enjoyed watching her YouTube videos, you've enjoyed watching her on Instagram, you want to pick up this book by Tabitha Brown, Feeding the Soul. And the subtitle is Finding Our Way to Joy, Love, and Freedom. And, one of the things that one of her catchphrases is, have a good day. But even if you can't have a good day, don't you dare mess up somebody else's. In this book, she shares you how you can do both, how you can enjoy your life, but also not mess up someone else's. And that includes not judging other people, not expecting other people to meet up to your expectations. And I also love the fact that one of the things that she talks about in the book that I personally have been working on that I love about this, and that is that you have to realize that your vision, your goal, your dream is for you. It's not for other people. Not everybody is going to understand it. Not everyone's going to get it. And that's okay because it wasn't given to them. It was given to you. What Tabitha shares in the book is how the way you feed your soul is by doing what you know you've been called to do. And that's exactly what she's done. Now, I mentioned she just had a big milestone. Her book is now a New York Times bestseller. It's only been out a week. A New York Times bestseller, and get this, it debuted at number one. Her very first book. Again, really, really great. Feeding the Soul is the book. It's on sale for $16.79. That's the hardcover, guys. The hardcover is on sale. That's what I bought. It is on sale right now. Definitely worth your time. And of course, definitely worth the investment as well. All right, we're coming down to the end. Just a few books left for this week's episode of the Book Guide. Our next book, we're going back. We're finishing off. Well, actually, we're not finishing off. I was going to say we're going to finish off a little lighthearted, but this book's a little lighthearted. The other two, not as lighthearted, but that's still great. They're still great books. Essa, Jenna, and the Soulless Viper. There you see it there. By I know him as Derek Dorsey, but on the book is D.A. Dorsey. Is the author of the book. Now, let me tell you what's cool about this. This is a book that shows you that, hey, you can do great things without being a superhero. You can be having a life that is a mess, a family life that is a mess, and still be able to do some great things. Kelly Girl, thank you so much for the follow over on Amazon Live. Appreciate you. We're going through some books to definitely add to your reading list that are here on Amazon. All these books are books that I have personally read and reviewed. And now I'm excited to be able to share them with all of you because October, if you don't know, is National Book Month. National Book Month. So every week we're bringing you guys some great titles to add to your reading list, something for everybody of all different ages. I appreciate that, Kelly. So again, Zaganovic and the Soulless Viper by D.A. Dorsey. This is one of those books that takes you into characters that are perfectly imperfect. They do not do it all right, but they still have a chance to save the world. Doesn't get any better than that. It's a great fantasy book. If you guys like a book that's great for a getaway, I know some of the books I've been sharing this week are a little heavier, but this is one that is great for entertainment. Zaganovic and the Soulless Viper. Right at the time we're doing this conversation, $4.95. $4.95 is the price, and it's available in print as well as the Kindle edition. The next book is literally ripped from the headlines, and I say that because he actually made headlines. He was on the cover of the New York Post. He's someone, again, I mentioned earlier about Columbus Short, taking responsibility, acknowledging the wins, but also the mistakes. That's exactly what Gary Hayward does in his book, Corruption Officer, and it is exactly what the title alludes to. He's someone went from being a correctional officer to being on the wrong side of the law. And he writes about the journey of how it happened. How did a good guy end up in jail? How did a guy who was supposed to be looking out, and taking care of the bad guys end up being one of those bad guys? How did it happen? And what did he learn from the experience, and what does he share with us? This is a true story, folks. True story of Gary Hayward's life. Truly the thing that movies are made of, for sure. And I say that with a hint there. So be looking out for some exciting announcements coming out from Gary Hayward. But Corruption Officer is the book. The subtitle of the book is From Jail Guard to Perpetrator Inside Rikers Island. I love this book. Had a great interview with Gary Hayward right on the Amazon Live platforms. You all can find it in our other broadcasts. Definitely check that out. At the time we're doing this broadcast, it is $16.99. $16.99 is the price for Gary Hayward's book, Corruption Officer. And last but certainly not least, and if you all have been following me on Amazon Live, you know I literally just interviewed this next book's author on Amazon Live yesterday, depending on how you're viewing this. So if you're viewing us live, I interviewed her on Sunday. I'm talking about Lisa W. Beckwith. So you can find the interview on Amazon Live for our broadcast there. God is carrying me. I am his warrior. Now this book is perfect for a couple of reasons. One, it takes you into Lisa's journey of realizing what she can do, even opposed to what people tell her that she can't do. But also, it takes her through her cancer journey as well, and what helped her through it. How was she able to get to a place where she realized that God was carrying her and that she could fight? And we are able to see what happens during the fight. Again, I had a great interview with Lisa yesterday. If you're joining us live on the Amazon Live broadcast, you guys can go over there and watch the interview. Again, Lisa W. Beckwith, God is carrying me. I am his warrior. Again, available on Amazon. At the time we're having this conversation, let me go back here. It is $6 and $6.50. Yeah, $6.51. Wow, $6.51. Had to look at that to make sure that was right. So a really good price. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. All right, and there you have it. This week's episode of the book, guys. Some great titles for you guys to be able to take a look at. Going to give you guys a quick recap as I highlight them one last time in the carousel. Again, that was God is Carrying Me. I Am His Warrior by Lisa W. Beckwith. Corruption Officer by Gary Hayward. Zaganovic and the Soulless Viper by D.A. Dorsey, or Derek Dorsey. If you guys are joining us on Facebook, you can see him there. Feeding the Soul by Tabitha Brown. Short Stories by Columbus Short. Where Tomorrows Aren't Promised by Carmelo Anthony. Live Free by Devon Franklin. Dance Your Dance by Lori Ann Gibson. Dream by Design, the devotional by Melissa Banks. Triumph by Jody Lee Stewart. Choose Life by Brian Nelson. Healing Words, Life Lessons to Inspire by Mary Ellen Zaganovic. Standing Upright in an Upside Down World by Dennis Perkins. Seminal, Some People Never Give Up by Tina Siemens. Transformation by Dr. Theresa Smith, or Dr. Taz as we know her. Resilient Heart by Ruby C. White. The Memory Lingers On by Rosalind K Chuck. Celebrating Life, Celebrating You by Lisa George, or Lisa G, as we know her on Facebook. Stand Up to Workplace Bullying and Discrimination by Dawn Marie Westmoreland. A Necessary Explosion, our only poetry book on the list, by Dan Burns. Chestnut Checkers by Tony Lindsay. And last but certainly not least, Westlake by Dan OBrien. So there you have this week's episode of The Book Guide here on Cyrus Webb Presents. Thank you for that, Mary Ellen. I'm glad you enjoyed the interview with Lisa. Lisa's really a courageous person. Anyone who's able to tell their story is very courageous, I feel like. So I was glad to have that opportunity. Again, make sure you guys, if you're joining us on the Amazon Live platform, all you have to do is click below, add any of the books to your shopping cart, be able to check out and take advantage of the deals that are available for them. If you're joining us on the other platforms, you'll notice a link that will take you over to Amazon to be able to get all the books for yourself. Hope you found something that you'll be able to enjoy for yourself, as well as share with others. Until next time, you all make it a great one, and we will see you next week. Take care.